Welcome to Confessions of a PT. In this week's episode, we're going to be speaking about two people in the industry that are quite big, that are currently having a head-to-head, and myself and Mr. Cow are going to be discussing which side of the fence we're on. So, the two people, James Smith versus Mr. Eddie Abu. I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is, they've kind of been nitpicking at each other because it's a conflict of opinions. Something we've talked about before. I got to say, I'm Team Eddie. I am Team Eddie.
I'd say I was Team James. Only in the last 3 to 4 months, I'd say. Not that I'm Team Eddie. I feel like I'm borderline in the middle now. I used to be like, it was very much like calories in versus calories out was like anything, no matter what it was. And now I see the effect of what eating real food and the effect of what processed and ultra processed food does in regards to food addiction. So slowly moving away over it. Why are you so Mr. Abu?
So I think Eddie Abu he's been in the game for ages, and he is clearly very knowledgeable about nutrition, and you can really sense his passion coming across, where he's ex-bodybuilder, he used to take a load of steroids, his daughter's a really good nutritionist, and he just eats, sleeps and breathes the nutrient-dense foods. And his message is like so congruent with what he's giving that's what I think has swept a lot of people into that, which I think has been great. It's got people thinking about eating single ingredient whole foods, more of less of the ultra-processed rubbish. I can see what James Smith did. He tried to build an audience through simplifying things and dumbing things down and talking about a topic at the lowest common denominator, which was like calories. Now, one argument is if you help a load of very overweight people lose weight and get momentum on their journey through that mindset, then you've still kind of won. But I just feel like Eddie is more, he just tells it how it is. And I see less of manoeuvring around what's popular to talk about with Eddie than I do with James, if I'm just being honest. And he just lives and dies by the message. And nutrition's changed my life, eating better. So it's hard to not root for someone that's just got such a passion around that. And when he dresses up and goes in the supermarket,
the Greg's one killed me.
Absolutely.
Wake the fuck up.
Yeah, when he walks into Greg's, it's like you can smell the type 2 diabetes.
It is. That was my first time to work in Greg's. That was my first ever
time. We need to hear more about this.
Mate, I was 17, honestly, and I've always a confession of a PT. I hate my ears, so you'll never ever see me wearing hats. And I used to have to wear a hat and a hairnet. And honestly, I was at college, and my mates would stand outside the town Greg's, just pissing themselves laughing at me.
Oh,
Quick,
stop it! Can I invent a time machine to get back to see you?
I always used to steal yum yums as well. That's really bad. I shouldn't be saying that. Okay, next topic.
No, but when he dresses up like this, is a real. The message is just like hot cross, like that he says, and just kind of, it's so penetrating that he just.
But it is bad that people are queuing there at like 10 a.m. Do you know what I mean? It's like, fucking hell. Sorry, no, but I'm terrible.
Yeah. It's.
You can smell the toxicity. That is such a penetrating message.
Yeah, it sounds offensive, but if you're going to put out content solely to the average person, you are going to have to dumb it down into a very simple message. And I just feel like Eddie is like bulldozing people with being like, I know this and you need to get on board with me. I'm not coming into your world, you come into mine. And there's something really powerful about that, I think, because I always say, like, if you're trying to eat a certain way and you tell your next door neighbour what you're doing and they think it's a good idea, then it could be 100 times better. The average person is so poorly educated on nutrition. They come from schools, indoctrinated with mainstream media, that they have absolutely no idea.
You look at kids' lunchboxes, for one, it's terrible.
And I'm not sure how good the message of just eat a few less crisps actually is. Do you know what I mean? Swap a really shit Coke for a less shit Coke. At some point, someone's got to say how your life can change when you get on board with proper stuff. Yeah. And the fact he's doing that in a funny way is just so attention grabbing as well.
What would you say then, because I feel like Eddie's message is so far one side compared to someone that's 50% body weight, 140 kilo. Like, where's the middle line? Do you not think that because the pyramid of nutrition priorities, right? Calories one, then you've got macros, micros, meal time. Do you not agree with that? Like getting someone, for me, the hat that I always used to wear with clients is, yes, I want you to eat better, but you're so far over there, I need to get you to here. Okay, we've done that, then we get you to here. Does that make sense?
I know exactly what you mean, and that is a great point. Where you could argue he's flawed is most of his audience, or the audience he's trying to reach, aren't going to throw everything out their cupboards and just eat eggs and steak. That's too much of a jump. We know as coaches that it is baby steps to kind of get the compliance and adherence. So that's a really good point. But I just feel like at some point we've got to start talking about how you thrive, not just how you lose a little bit of weight.
So does he eat anything processed? Is it pure?
He says he doesn't. I love Eddie. If you're watching, I'd love to put the comment of what he. I mean, he does a lot of content about what he eats in a day. I'm sure I remember reading he has a cheat meal at least once a week. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe there is a little bit of he's created this character now where someone's going to catch him outside Herbie's Pizza, and it's not for a video.
He's
actually going in
Domino's.
He's actually going in, and the next thing will be Eddie Abu exposed, and it'll go viral
all over again.
Yeah, that'll go viral quickly because it is about balance, and this is where we struggle as coaches is that you want to move people towards excellence, but sometimes you're working with someone that's just like, I ain't giving up my 5 pints of Guinness and my pizza and my Taco Tuesday. It doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah.
And we kind of have to be like, well, who are we to be like, that's not a good life. You should come with us.
Yeah. It's that self-realization that they need at a point. Like we can obviously guide people to give them what's best for them. But at the end of the day, unless they realize themselves, and I've always prided myself on that, on giving clients autonomy of understanding what they're doing, like X equals Y, or how to get from A to B. But yeah, I do feel the hard hat is probably the one I'm missing in regards to just telling people that they need to get a grip with their nutrition sometimes, because I think Eddie's funniest ones I feel like in the supermarkets is with the cereal. It is, and so many people, but again, uneducated, because the media has been like, you should have cereal for breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal today. Yeah. Like it's not. It's like, it's not saying about you
should have this dessert with a cartoon character on the box. So it's like masquerading as a health food.
But it is, and it just, the processed and everything else like that is crazy.
I think the way he's looked at it is almost like everyone's here, so I'm going to come in here, and I'm not expecting everyone to come here, but if I come in with such a strong message here, I'll pull some people, shunt some people quickly like that, because you are against the mainstream, the advertising, the corporate, lobbying for getting the foods out there. And they're both just trying to do their best, which is good. And I think the other point that that James Smith has that is good is people they can get into a paralysis of almost feeling depressed through perfectionism and things like that. And sometimes you want to just have a bowl of Haagen-Dazs and be like, don't you take myself? Went to the gym last week. It's all good. Life is for living. Yeah. And that is that's an important message as well, because the insecure Roy, the bodybuilder that only eats asparagus, that hates himself when he has a custard cream, that's not.
Did you see the guy that took meal prep on a night out? Did you see that?
No.
He took Tupperware to the nightclub and was eating it in the middle of the dance floor.
In a non-ironic.
It looked like you actually. I was like, Matt Cowell's done it again.
I took it to football once. I went to watch Reading play football.
No.
And I took it there, and the looks I was getting was just disdain and disgust. As in, like, what the hell are you? They're there with like a rollover hot dog and a pucker pie, and it was like I had 4 heads. I had like chicken breast, sweet potato, and asparagus in this box. I remember like how they search you when you go in. I was just kind of like, the mate didn't want to get anywhere near me. He was like, I don't care if you've got fucking if you've got knives, if you've got sort of spuds with blades in it that you're going to throw, you just go through, mate. You clearly don't.
But I feel like that with Eddie Abu is that ultimate perfection, and like people just don't live like that.
No,
do they?
and they're
you
not
can't
gonna.
be 100% like. I mean, I say about the 80-20 rule, like the majority of it wants to be good, but if you have an off day, you have an off day, and that's why I did like James Smith's approach, because it's flexible approach to it's okay to. But then where does that line drawn? Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a difficult thing a bit.
Like Gary Vee did a really good video the other day where he was at one of his conferences and he got someone on stage. He was like, "Who doesn't have social media?" And the guy runs a business. He's there watching the thing, but he doesn't have any social. And he's like, "You don't want to utilize that?" He's like, "No, I'm too lazy." And he's just like, "Are you happy about that?" He's like, "I am happy as hell." And he's like, "Good for you." You know, no one says that you need to go and bang your drum about your business and post multiple platforms. If you just want to, if you are generally content just doing what you're doing without it, who's anyone else to be like that? So you're...
You get warped in that's what you need to do, because it's
Yeah.
a norm, isn't it? Everyone's doing it, so
and
I
that-
need to do it.
And it can almost become more stress. And the guy that had just surrendered to it, this Portuguese guy just on stage like, "I know I'm too lazy. Won't get up in the morning. Just like to walk my dog. I do what I do." You know, it would almost genuinely, by looking at him, you could see it would be more stress for him to go and think about what he was going to post and film this and do that. And it's kind of like, you could argue on some level he would be happier filling his purpose with maybe all the... But not necessarily, not if he's just happy as he is. In the same way, someone that, you know, eats McDonald's 3 times a week but trains like hell, and they're just like, "I love that. I ain't quitting that." Who's anyone to be like that? If you're happy, it's only when it gets out of control.
Genuine happy though, isn't it? Because people will put on a front to it. Everyone, you're never happy with how you are, isn't it? And it's like social media is always pushing that perception of the ultimate physique. But
I mean, I know in my mind, if I was eating McDonald's 3 times a week, it would eat at me as you're not fulfilling your potential. You can do better than this, and you know it, and that would be more stressful.
in regards to what though, looks or performance in the gym,
Partly
or all of the above?
both, but partly just from if I want to fulfill my potential, I've got to do things that build me up, not break me down. And if I'm doing that's in direct conflict to what else I'm trying to do that is in that positive column. So yes, a cheat meal for a mental, spiritual release, whatnot. But do you know what I mean? But I guess everyone has a different needle of balance of where they fall, of where, like, what optimal life looks like. But like you say, you could definitely argue that if everyone ate really well and trained to their maximum, they would, of course, on some biological level, feel better.
But I feel like the best thing that's come out of the debate, where more people are speaking about, is the importance of nutrition. I feel so many people just focused on the training element, killing themselves doing 2 hours of cardio, whereas now people understand the nutrition. What's Eddie's? He loves eggs, doesn't he? He says eggs is the most powerful.
He loves
source of
eggs, and
protein.
he
more than poultry and meat, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he rates eggs as like number one, as like the best, as what he likes. But it's all, you know, he likes the feta, the lamb, the steak, you know, sweet potato and that kind of stuff. It's essentially, it's hard to argue with because it is that, what's that, partly carnivore type Mother Nature
carbs,
single ingredient. Yeah, white potato, sweet potato, like vegetables, like I think like bits of fruit and stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, he probably feels like $1 million because he's just not eating anything processed.
Love to
shit.
find McDonald's bags in the back of his car.
I love to rumble him. Like, imagine like being...
Where's he live?
I don't know, but we'll try. If you're not, send us the clips first if you could see Eddie going into Papa John's at 11 p.m.
So we'll wrap up there, mate. I'm going to go in the middle. I know that's sat on the fence, but you're going to go Team Eddie?
I'm going to go Team Eddie, but, you know, I can see both sides and, things are rarely black and white.
Cool. Thank you for watching this week's episode. Slightly different this week. As we have given you our gym confessions, we want to put the onus over to you guys. So either comment or send us a DM below with your worst or best gym confessions, and we'll speak to you soon.